Hi everyone, welcome to Upper Echelon Technology. I'm Chris King.
I'm Alexander Voigt.
Alex, our host for today. This is Tech Rundown number 2. I know we've been out here for a while, but there hasn't really been much tech news because it usually comes out in the summer. But we have some topics for today.
Yeah, so things are happening. Big things are happening in the world of technology. I don't have a tinfoil hat, so I'm just wearing my hood. So here we go. We begin with WWDC, Apple, Google, and Microsoft. So June 8th, Apple, the epicenter of change, that's what they're calling it. So what does this mean to you?
Well, we know that they've been working on a new product for Apple TV. Mm-hmm. We don't know if it's going to replace the little streaming box that they have or if it's actually going to be an Apple TV. But we know it's going to be a new type of product that deals with Apple TV. Do you have Apple TV?
I do not, but I always thought of getting it.
But you, I know you've been interested in it, so maybe this will be.
The price went down too, so there's.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe this will be the selling point for you. So I mean, we'll see. We don't know exactly yet. But the big thing here is a revamped music app and service. In one of the beta for the new OS that they released, there are files that indicate, like a new music service is coming because this is going to replace iTunes. It's going to replace Beats. Is it going to be a merger of both? I think that they have to kind of figure something out and just kind of be one kind of brand.
Yeah,
Apple's big in music, so.
How does people find these files? Is it easier? Is it easier than it sounds? Because for me, it sounds complicated.
I know, right?
Okay, and then also don't forget to talk about the watch.
And Apple Watch as well. We're going to talk a little bit about it in just a second, but I'm sure this is the Developers Conference, Worldwide Developers Conference. Yeah. So this all has to do with about presenting to developers and saying, what can you guys design on our platform?
Yes.
Or sorry, these are the tools so you guys can design stuff on our platform. So I'm sure Apple Watch is gonna be a big thing there. Like they're gonna ask.
Thing.
Yeah. So they need apps. So that's what they're gonna be talking about there for sure.
Yeah. So then we have Microsoft. So we assume they're gonna be talking about Windows 10. That's the one that's called Spartan, right?
Yes. No. That's the new internet browser.
Yes. We have to get rid of Internet Explorer. Okay, so we got Windows 10, we got Google I/O, Android M, and Android OS.
Google's doing a lot of neat stuff with Android. They have their Android Wear watches and stuff. Yeah. Android, Lollipop 5.0 just came out. So rumors that they're going to be talking about a new Android OS as well. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, you have the Android watch, right?
Well, no, I have a Samsung watch that actually uses Tizen, I believe, which is Samsung's OS. Yeah, which is going to be supposed to rival Android.
What is happening in this world? Yeah. Okay, it should just be two things. Okay, it should be Windows versus Apple. What happened to that?
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little about that at Google Fi.
Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so 1 million Apple Watch pre-orders outweighs most of the Android watches. Okay, so this is huge because those things are expensive.
Yeah.
So of course we already know that there's always been Apple diehards. Like there's just these fans that really like it. But I didn't expect that they actually pretty much sold out on their pre-orders. So we talked about wearables and how much they're pretty much dying, I guess. Yeah. But it seems like it's going strong. So what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, like I have a smartwatch just pretty recently actually, but I don't really find that, and I have a Gear S, which is the newest Samsung watch, and I still don't really find much practical use with it. It's more of a convenience, and by a very thin margin. It's not much of a luxury. It's just slightly of a luxury. I mean, it's really a difference of either pulling your phone out or not pulling it out. That's kind of what the difference is,
Which, in long run, I guess it'll be nice, but overall, it's like I don't care. Like I'm still really weird about turning off my lights with my phone. My watch. I mean. It's like I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like carrying around one giant remote control for everything.
Yeah, precisely. It's something like that. So I don't, I messed with the Apple Watch and it's really nice design, but it still looks kind of like a little toy to me. It doesn't really scream innovation. But they must have a long plan, and more than anything, I think these 1 million Apple orders they're marketing it to the celebrities, They're marketing it to the athletes right now because they all have iPhones because they don't know how to use Samsung Android, which is complicated. Which is not a knock on Apple, right? That is the point of Apple. It is simplicity, elegance, and simplicity. Whereas Android is more just like it's kind of a lot of stuff, Something which I wish for that simplicity. That's why I want a Mac, Yeah. But as far as the Apple Watch goes, I mean, it's good news for the watch market. That's the good news.
It's funny you said that because I remember that there was this joke video, I think it was for one of April Fools or something, that they were talking about that Google would now just be one button. Or it was one ball. I think it was one of those balls, that old school balls. And they're like, okay, with just one click, like this ball. You have to turn it going down. There's a long list of apps instead of finally clicking the one that you want. And like, simplicity. Okay, so next up we got Tesla almost sold out to Google in 2013 by Musk. So this is where the tinfoil hat comes in. Okay, so your thoughts on this before I ramble and rant about it.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla cars they just blew up out of nowhere in the past like 2 years. I don't think everyone realizes that those are electric cars.
Yeah,
you know, because they're luxury.
Electric cars.
They are beautiful luxury electric cars, the first of its kind. Elon Musk is obviously an innovator in that aspect. But what happened here in 2013 is that they were borderline bankruptcy.
Yep.
You know, and Musk actually went to Google and was talking about them and saying like, can we strike a deal where either I am CEO for the next 8 years or until the next car comes out? And before that happened, they blew up, you know? So it's funny to show how these things can happen just at any moment, you know? Yeah. So if not, we would have Google cars, Google electric cars. So what it says to me, though, is this is confirmation that these tech companies like Google, Apple, I guarantee you, Microsoft and Samsung, they are thinking about smart cars. They want to get in. That's what it tells me.
See, and then that's when the watch comes in handy. That's when these things like actually start connecting with everything. Yeah. There's that cool, creepy factor. And it's funny that Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails actually owns one, and he's one who made an album just not that long ago about the world being taken over by just this one company. Yeah. And that's kind of what's happening here. Like, Google is becoming big and big. It's just getting bigger and bigger. Like, they're touching up on a lot of stuff, which you're already seeing here, and you're going to continue to see. Yeah. And in time, like, imagine a Google car. Like, that, we're headed that way.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly and rainbow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's exciting. But it's going to be very complex, okay? Because it's not just going to have one button.
It's Android.
Yeah. So once we get to the Apple cars, like, that would just be one button to drive. One button to get to work. It'd be amazing. Good times. Oh yeah, and they're trying to ban driving. Do you hear about that stuff? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a point where they're trying to ban driving because we're all bad drivers. So there's going to be a way that your car would just control itself. Like, you just kind of put in the GPS.
That'd actually be interesting.
And yeah, like they'll have sensors to actually get traffic and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
So it's quite interesting. It's creepy, but that's the future we're headed to. If you guys saw WALL-E, this is what's happening. Okay, so next up, Comcast and TWC meet for a conference with Legal Board.
Yeah, so about like a year or so ago, we heard that Comcast is interested in acquiring Time Warner Cable.
Yep.
Which would mean that it would become like, it's pretty much a monopoly. They would become like I believe like 40% of the market share at that point, which means that it's pretty much going to be versus Comcast or like maybe two other smaller kind of guys, because Time Warner Cable is second.
Which they'll end up eating up too, because it's the smaller people.
So I mean, look, from a business standpoint, I think it's genius.
Yeah.
I think like because I'm thinking that way. It's some people think it's very negative and maniacal, but it's just good business. Like if you can strike a deal where you're gonna acquire number two, I mean that's just good business for you. Like you're gonna own pretty much the cable line. So from that sense, yes. From a consumer standpoint, someone who has subscribed to Time Warner Cable, it can be pretty bad, because this means that if they want to raise the prices, I mean we're screwed, and then we're gonna have to go somewhere else with unreliable cable and try to get a deal with them. So it's difficult, kind of from both sides, but so far they're still trying to push the legalities of it, which makes me believe that it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. It's really terrible in this sense, because there's a time that I actually subscribed to Time Warner Cable, and I was just like, you know what? These people are way too expensive. These people are like, they never come, or they take forever to come. They're like, oh, we'll be there in 4 weeks at this time in the middle of the day and a Wednesday. And I was like, make sure to be there. And it's just like, what? What? And then from there, I'm like, you know what? Screw this place. I'm just going to go somewhere else. So I call up Sony Files. I'm like, hey guys, or is it Sony's Verizon Files? Whoever
Verizon Files, yeah.
So I call up Files and I'm like, hey guys, like, I heard that you guys were awesome. So let's do this. And they're like, okay, we don't reach your area. It's like, I can't get anybody. It's like, okay, Time Warner, I'll be there this Wednesday. So go as soon as possible. Okay, Sony has announced a revision to its consolidated forecast for the fiscal year. As the company has seen a market increase in its game and network services, music, and imaging products and solution divisions, Kaz Hirai, I'm going to keep it like that, Kaz Hirai, is leading Sony back to profitability.
Yeah, so this is actually really interesting news. It's about time. Again, I'm a big supporter of Sony. Have been for a very, very long time. They used to be the if you want to call them the Apple or Samsung of the past. Like they were on top before, and it kind of sucks to see them drop down. But at this point, even I can admit they shouldn't be making phones. They should not be making laptops. They should not be making. I think they should be making TVs. They make really good TVs. They could be making audio. They make
that Bravia system, yeah.
They make very good audio systems as well. And obviously they are king on the game market. They have been for pretty much after they took it off from Nintendo. So we know that Game and Network Services, they're one of those profits. So PS4 is the best-selling console for pretty much these past 2 years. So that there's no argument there. Music, like we said, their audio quality is, if you're an audiophile, you know who Sony is. Like they still make like the brand new Walkman is for audiophiles. Those guys who want high-end, high streaming quality music, they're good in that. They just made a deal with Spotify, so they believe in audio, they believe in music, which I'm glad. That's why I want to subscribe to them. And imaging products and solution divisions, I wasn't really sure what they're trying to get at with that one. I'm assuming it has to do with all video and all picture.
Like Sony Vegas?
As well, yeah, I hear that it has to do a lot with their Sony cameras as well that are really,
the
really
power shots.
very high end as well. So, yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah, I never owned a Sony Ericsson, but every time I saw it, I always wondered like how far I could throw it. Because I never cared about these phones.
No, not the phones or laptops, yeah.
But I'm one who actually has a MacBook Pro. And I also have, because I'm really weird like that, I also have a Sony Vaio. Like, I really like their laptops. The laptop's really good. Actually, this is my second Sony Vaio. I remember that before I had a smaller screen. And then I'm like, you know what? I like this a lot. Let me just get bigger. Mm-hmm. And I remember I sold my last one and got this bigger one. So I think they're still good with those products. But there is a lot of products that you should drop completely. Like they're trying to put their hands on everything.
Way too much, yeah.
Yeah, so I think they should actually focus. And I think that you're right with music. They should focus on that. With the games, they should focus on that. And of course, film. Like, we still need them, even though they need to stop showing trailers.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, I agree.
And they did a smart move with, even though they're not necessarily them in a sense, they should give a little more freedom for Marvel to keep Spider-Man. Spider-Man's getting help. So they worked that deal out. Moving on! Okay, so this brand new thing you remember that thing that you never heard of? But we brought it up. I think we brought it up at one point.
Yeah.
Whatever. Somebody brought it up to you, I'm sure. Tidal! Remember that thing that you loved, that you didn't buy, and nobody in the world that you know bought it because it's super overpriced, and who has time to listen to flack stuff onto your tiny... Whatever. Moving on.
Yeah.
It bombed. Okay? It's gone. It's gone. Well, actually, it's not necessarily bombed. Like, they keep going back and forth. Like, it wasn't a bomb.
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers on it, but it's pretty much enough to just know that it bombed. It bombed at release. It did not get as many subscribers as they were expecting, like not even remotely as close to what they were expecting. We could have told you that. I mean, we just talked about it like a week or so ago that although we are audiophiles and we appreciate that they want to offer high fidelity music streaming, that's an oxymoron. You cannot have high fidelity music streaming because streaming is not high fidelity.
Yep.
It is not high quality, and it pretty much will never be until 2035. Like when we get there where servers are when we have data compression that is so good that you don't lose quality. Until we get to that point, it's not really viable. Like
that's an oxymoron in itself because compressing something is actually making it smaller.
Well, no, like I said, I mean, compressing is the future. We have to have compression because files are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it doesn't make any sense. So I think compression is the future. But the problem is that compression has to be so fast and so quality losing less that you can't notice it. But we're not there yet. I mean, even just streaming something on Netflix, which usually works, you get that buffering thing, and then what happens when it comes back?
So
it's all blocky and all messed up. So same thing with music files, which even though are much smaller, it's never going to sound the same as hearing them live. It's never going to sound the same as hearing a studio recording.
Or a first time listen to a record because I'm a hipster.
As well.
Okay, but anyways, I disagree with you. You said that compressing is the future. I think that the future is really us having giant towers of servers and tons of electricity going everywhere, and tons of everywhere. Everybody has Wi-Fi. Okay, you'll feel the electricity in the air when you walk into California. Like, I think that's the future, or the
funny.
U.S. Okay, so it would be scary when it rains because we're all afraid to be electrocuted.
We're gonna have to have like servers in our backyard.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's gonna have to buy
A giant tower.
50 terabyte server machine.
I love it. It'll sound like an IMAX camera.
That's funny.
It's super loud. It's
I
gonna,
know, right? Imagine they want.
It's gonna have a generator.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing. Imagine those music videos.
gonna
Imagine the
power
sound
on.
quality and how good it looks. That is the future. Welcome to the future. Tinfoil hats. Okay. Google unveils Project Fi. It was Fi, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be like Wi-Fi. Okay, only works with Nexus 6 for some reason, because do you own a Nexus? Nobody does. Works with Sprint and T-Mobile towers because they're partners. And then pricing $20 a month for talk and text, plus the other little things like $10 per gigabyte.